Well, that was the brand and creative director, Sarah Gordon from Bloom and Wild, saying that this was just a lovely thing to do. But is it a lovely thing to do, or is it a marketing tool? Let's discuss now with Diane Worrell from the Retail Data Analyst Springboard and the consumer expert, Kate Hardcastle. Diane, first, what do you make of it?
I mean, it's an incredibly clever and a very good idea, and lots of brands are looking for the extra 1%. And it's interesting what Sarah said about being kind as well as savvy in business terms, and you can be both. And I think that's what consumers today are certainly looking for. And the technology that we have now allows businesses to do that. Yes, it will have a business objective, but actually being kind to your customers is the way to go, and it breeds loyalty and creates longevity.
Kate, do you agree?
I think that we've got to be realistic about businesses and understand what their opportunity is with their consumers. But if we're going to create businesses of the future and they are more emotionally intelligent than their predecessors, I am wholeheartedly in agreement with that. What that means is they're listening to their customers more, which means that you and I, no matter what our desire, be it better value, greater service, are probably going to be listened to more. Now, all businesses want to make a profit, that's how it works, but having them more in tune with what we want and how we want it is no bad thing whatsoever.
But Diane, where would this stop? For example, Father's Day, in the middle of the summer, there could be some people who object to Christmas, for example, or don't enjoy Christmas. And in terms of being kind to your customers, does this mean like every event, every mark in the calendar, emails will be sent out saying, do you not want to receive these emails?
Well, that's possibly the case. And for some people, Father's Day could be upsetting. And for some people who may have suffered a bereavement around Christmas, Christmas may be upsetting. And having that consideration from commercial businesses is the next step. And business is now about personalisation. It's about creating stronger links between the company and the customer. And this is a way to do it. I mean, clearly there is a commercial gain to be had because they will gain that information and they will know have better intelligence about their customer moving forward. And that's no bad thing because, as Catherine says, if we're going to shape businesses that are future-proofed and will have some longevity, they need to have better intelligence around their customers. And this is a way of doing that. But it also shows consideration.
But Kate, do you think people believe them, or will some lack of belief maybe have a bit of a backlash?
There'll always be cynics. Having looked at this organisation and looked at other communications, though, I think they've gravitated towards fans because they are trying to improve the communications. They are trying to understand what their customers want and be a business for the future. I think generally we've got to look at this with a sound mind and say this is a business that have set themselves up to make profit. They want to be successful. But in doing so, they're actually trying to be more emotionally intelligent. And I think more businesses should take a leaf out of that book. I personally would like to be able to opt out and in of things of emails and make the emails that I do receive in abundance more relevant, more selective, because too much noise actually is destroying a lot of businesses.
What about the counter argument that said the kindest thing a business could do to all of us is not overcharge us?
Well, I think absolutely value is part of the proposition. I mentioned that in my first answer, but they're still going to want to make profit and they're still going to want to make sure that they're connecting with you. So they've got to make profit to be viable. And I think they've got to offer the best value in doing so. But we don't just get value out of price. We get value out of service. We get value out of the goods received, the quality received. And actually most consumers, when interviewed, will talk about those other elements, not just actually what they pay, because our time is one of our most precious commodities. And if our time is wasted by bad quality or bad service, that affects our lives too.
Diane, does this mean then that smart marketing isn't just bombarding people with information or letting us know that they're out there? It's actually sort of tailor-made for us if they do a wee bit of research in the first place and get a profile, I guess, of us that are likes and dislikes, things we want and don't want. Is that the way forward for those companies that want to get that extra percentage of the market?
That's absolutely the way forward. And it is about cost versus value, because we can always buy something that's cheaper, but the experience that we have during that journey, that purchase journey won't be attractive, won't be appealing, won't make you feel loved and nurtured as a customer. And therefore you'll be less inclined to go back to that business and give them some repeat business next time. Part of giving gifts is about the experience of buying the gift as well as giving the gift. And so So companies that can make sure that that whole experience is more enjoyable and you feel more nurtured will certainly have greater longevity.
I'm looking at a big interview about them on something called the Challenger product, where the founder's saying that he wants to create a brand that people trust and really enjoy using. And maybe one day people don't just say, I want flowers, I want blooming wildflowers. It's a marketing ploy.
It is a marketing ploy, but that doesn't mean that it can't be caring and it can't be nurturing and it can't be considerate. The thing about commerce and business now is we are much more savvy as consumers. We are much more intelligent as consumers. Our demands and our requirements have increased exponentially with the internet and the availability of transaction-based purchasing. So our standards have increased, and therefore companies need to respond to that. And companies like Bloom and Wild, who are being more responsive, are doing exactly that. They're making use of the latest technology to create greater personalisation in the customer journey. And yes, I mean, I think we all recognise as consumers that we're being marketed to, and it is a marketing ploy. But if it adds value to our lives, then it's very much welcomed, and it will only serve to strengthen the customer base of that company.
Now, Kate, I do use certain websites where when they send the product to you, and it's from various different brands and manufacturers, but it's under one website, there's a little handwritten note with my name on it and it says packed by Julie or something. I don't know if Julie packed it or not, but I really quite like that. And am I just being a bit suckered by it?
Not at all. Customers do. That's why they do it. And we're going to see more of that. And I'm quite grateful to that. It personalises a business and it makes them understand how they can behave more ethically, environmentally friendly, responsibly. I mean, there's so much more to be done. There's so much more pressure we can put on retailers and manufacturers to make sure that they think about their goods, their supply chain. There's so much we can do as consumers by influencing a business and make it more of the business we want to trade with. That doesn't mean they're not going to market. It doesn't mean they're not going to turn a profit, but it does mean that we're helping to shape something that actually might be a better neighbour in terms of community than the retailers that are just purely out for one thing. So I agree with that. I'm okay with this. This is a developing business getting in tune with the people it sells to.
And you both think that the big heat and light and power companies and the big car traders and the big insurance companies could follow suit, could do something similar?
Well, they need to.
Yeah, I think that absolutely. I mean, it wouldn't take an awful lot to personalise their business to a slightly greater degree than they have currently, where we all feel like a complete number in their database.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Diane Worrell, retail data analyst Springboard, and the consumer expert Kate Hardcastle.